This is the first time I've actually tried to get someone on this call. So you are like the one I was like, come on, girl. So quick backstory on how I met Ashley. Who's not muted? I'm hearing crazy stuff. Mute, mute, mute. All right, there we go. NLC, obviously many of you knew that I went to NLC this year, which was in LA in January. And quick backstory, I was gonna be going with one of the girls on this team, and then things kind of fell through and I was kind of going solo. I didn't know anyone going. So I decided to quickly connect with any person that I saw in the Northeast champion, like posts. Whenever I saw people post on Thursdays, 1-star, 2-star, I was like, oh my God, they're going to NLC. I need to reach out and be their best friend. So I reached out to another girl, Brooke, who Ashley knows. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're going. And we started going back and forth. And she was like, I live in Massachusetts, but I'm so nervous to fly. Like, I cannot fly. I'm so nervous. And I'm like, oh, I got my ticket. Just come with me. So we didn't know each other. We buddied up. And it's just the way this works. You just figure this out. And we flew together. We met each other at the airport. And then from there on out, she was like, can I room with you? Because we were going out a day early. And I'm like, sure, that sounds fine. So she roomed with me. And then quickly she goes, I have another friend that is going to stay. Can she stay in your room with you? And I'm like, dude, is she crazy? And she was like, no, trust me, you're going to want to know her because she is going to be top 10 in this company really, really fast. And I was like, okay, sounds good. So Ashley and I met because we hunkered down for the first night in NLC, which was great because then, it was just nice because then you got to kind of know a bunch of people. And then one of their other teammates was there in our room as well. So it was a really great connection to have. And, we were picking Ashley's brain as we're sitting there, power houring and doing workouts and stuff together. And we're all messed up from the time change. So we're literally 5:30, 6 in the morning doing power hours in the lobby of the hotel. And I'm like, what are you doing? Clearly you're doing something that's major here. And we just trying to kind of pick her brain. So that's where I met Ashley. So a quick kind of background, and one of the reasons why I really wanted her to hop on here is I know overall morale is that a lot of times people feel as though, and me included, have felt as though it takes this business, it can take so long to kind of get to certain places. So when people think of Diamond, they think of Diamond as this spot that once you get there, you kind of are hanging there. Or it takes forever to get there. I was one of those people, it took forever for me to get there. And then now I just see that it was truly just the beginning and it's not as hard as people really make it out to be. So I think to see how far Ashley's got in a very short period of time truly shows how much this job can do for you and change. And it doesn't have to be baby stepping it. If you truly want it, you can go really far, really fast. And I'm really interested, and I thought that you guys would love to kind of hear how she got there, kind of how she changed her mindset to not just baby toe it and just really go all in. And so a little backstory, for Ashley is that she started coaching about 3 years ago. I'm sure Ashley, like many of us, we coached for a little bit, but not really coached. And she was a first grade teacher, has since retired being a first grade teacher. She's only 26 years old, just a baby. And she is currently 19th in the company. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were 12th in the company, February, March, April, May. So she was right up there. And I think I saw your summit pictures for your team. I think you had 40 plus people from your team there. When I saw your little pineapple shirts, girl, I was like, there's a mass group of people that are there. So it's pretty awesome how your team has rallied and shown up and gone for it. She's an SC10 legend for 30 months. So non-negotiables, what we talk about of SCV non-negotiable, 30 months, guys, it's doable. She was Premier for 2018 and Elite for 2019. She's currently 9-star, but the big thing I want people to hear is currently 9-star. This time last year, she was Diamond. So in 1 year, she went from Diamond to 9-star. So it's not a long process. This can be a quick process for you if you're doing the business and doing the vital behaviors and getting to that point. And she got engaged to her sweetheart 2 weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago. So now she's got big plans. So I'm super excited. If I left anything out, Ashley, please correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm super excited to have you, and welcome. Dive on in, lady.
Thank you so much. I will. So kind of how I want to do this call, I guess, is share a lot about my story, because I feel like that has been what's molded me into be such a powerful coach that I am today. And then talk a lot about how comfortable I was sitting at Diamond, and then what really pushed me out of that comfort zone. Of course, I'm 26 years old. I started this business I had just turned 22. Was I 22? Yeah, I must have been 22. I started this business when I was 22 years old. And so my entire life, I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I was going to teach until the day that I died. I always had in elementary school, I had old teachers. My kindergarten teacher was super old. My second grade teacher was super old, and I loved them so much. And that's what I envisioned my life being forever. I pictured my life being just an old woman teaching until the day that I died. And so a little backstory on that is that I was raised with my mentally challenged uncle in my home for as long as I can remember. Since I came home from the hospital, he was always, it's my mom's brother, she took care of him. And he didn't know how to read and write. And so when I was learning cursive, and I was learning how to read and write through kindergarten and first grade, I was bringing those things home. And I was teaching him. I was teaching him as much as I could to read and write. And that's where that mentorship, that love of just leadership kind of was instilled inside of me, inside of my core from a very young age. And so that's why I wanted to teach my whole life. So going through high school, I barely got through high school. I was a giant partier. I struggled to get through high school in terms of grades goes. I was always so worried about what people thought about me. I was so worried about being able to fit in my friend group, and being the life of the party so much that, I could hardly pass my classes. And so same thing happened when I went through college. I did graduate high school. I went into college, and I went to a school in Buffalo, New York. I know we're a lot of East Coasters over here. In Buffalo, New York, where I got my undergrad in elementary ed. And I met my now fiance, Tyler, my sophomore year of college. Well, I met him in high school. Oops. I met him in high school, but we actually rekindled things our sophomore year of college. And so we did long distance for about 2.5 months. We started dating roughly our junior year. We did long distance for about 2 years. And college graduation came around, where we had to make a decision whether I was going to move to Baltimore, where he lived, or if he was going to move to Rochester, where I lived. And so because of the lack of jobs in Rochester, I picked up my entire life, May 17th of 2014, the day after college graduation. I picked it up and I moved it into his parents' basement. Because if you guys know anything about Baltimore and DC, it is ridiculously priced. And as a broke 20-year-old college graduate, 21-year-old maybe at the time, I don't even know how old I was, I could not afford to get an apartment in Baltimore. And so Tyler's parents opened up their arms to us, and we moved straight into their basement. And so in the midst of moving into their basement, in the midst of my life being totally shaken from living on my own for 4 years and then moving into his parents' basement, I had enrolled in grad school to be a reading specialist. I was a full-time cocktail waitress, and I had just gotten my first real big career as a first grade teacher. Not to mention my job was roughly 45 minutes to an hour commute each way. I lived in Baltimore area, and I drove to DC area. And so I was on the commute. I was on the run all the time. Most of the nights I was going to grad school, and then I was coming home and living with Tyler's parents' basement in a split level house. And so it was a time in my life where I had enough. I just totally lost myself. I lost myself in who I was. I was pouring into my first graders. I was pouring into my education. I was pouring into this new relationship not a new relationship, but a relationship where we were finally together. And it came around January of 2015 where I had nothing left. I was looking around in my career saying, this is what I worked so hard for my entire life, and this is it, And it was such a a frustrating feeling, thinking that might be doing that forever. And it hurt to know that I couldn't even get my own life under control when I was in a career that I thought that I was going to love forever. And so January of 2015 came around, and I did what any 21, 22-year-old would do. I signed up to go to the gym, and I went to the gym, and I ran 3 miles every single morning because I had no knowledge in what to do at the gym, nor did I have any confidence to pick up a weight. And so I did it every single morning for roughly like 3 to 4 weeks until I burnt out in February. And I remember it specifically because it was Tyler's birthday weekend. And I saw a photo on my phone of a before and after photo. And it was my coach. And it was a 42-day before and after photo. And I remember thinking to myself, you know, she looks like me on the left, and I crave so badly to look like her on the right. That happiness, just that like she just looks proud, and I craved that for myself. And so I reached out to her. She told me about the 21-day fix. I put her off for 2 weeks because I needed to wait for payday, and I got started. And that and 21-day fix changed my world. If I can tell you guys anything, if there is one secret to this business, it's to focus on yourself and spread that passion like wildfire. And there's no secret in this business, but if there was, that would be the one secret in this business. And because I fell so deeply in love with the simplicity and the sustainability of 21-day fix, I became a rock star coach because I knew that my life was so chaotic. I was busy. I was going through, this total life change, but I had the ability to focus 30 minutes a day, and I knew that if I did, all the other Ashes of the world had the ability to do that same thing. And so I came in February of 2015, and I've never taken my foot off the gas pedal. I've missed Success Club one single month, and it was because it was literally a return, and it was the most gut-wrenching thing ever. But I have missed Success Club 1 month, and it's because, guys, I feel like I want you to picture one thing that you love, and I want this to kind of be interactive. I want you to put in the chat one thing that you love. So for instance, maybe like a tangible thing, like I love Lululemon, maybe like a brand. Put your favorite brand of clothing or a brand of something in the chat. Like I love I Buy Direct glasses. I love Tarte Cosmetics. I love Lululemon. Put it in the chat. I want to just hear from you something that you love. Amazon, Spiritual Gangster, New Balance, Lululemon, Target. Cool. So were you guys nervous to just tell me that? Were you guys nervous to tell me that you just love Target? Is anybody nervous to tell me they like MAC? No. I'm not nervous to tell people that I love Tarte Cosmetics. I'm not nervous to tell people I love Lululemon. So why are we so hesitant and holding back something that has changed our entire world? Like this opportunity, this business, these programs changed my life, just like the feeling of Lululemon leggings changed my world. I'm not afraid to hold that back because I want all the other people that I love around me, I want all the other Ashes of the world to enjoy Lululemon as well. I love them so much, I want other people to love them so much, right? Same thing with this opportunity, same thing with our programs and our products, guys. Don't ever for a second be afraid to hold that back, to hold that passion back. And so that was my mindset going into 2015 was that my coach, introduced the opportunity to me, and I was like, well, why not? If I'm going to do the workouts and I'm going to eat healthy, why not just share it like I share little things that I love in my life already? No, I need nothing more on my plate. No, I really don't need to take on another job. But what I do need is to continue filling my cup. I need some friends because I don't have any in a new city. I also need some money to get the hell out of my boyfriend's parents' basement. And if this opportunity can bring me those 3 things, heck yeah, sign me up. So you better believe that those 3 things are the things that I consistently lean into, because those 3 things that changed my world are the things that are continuously changing my coach's world because I am leaning into them, right? Because I'm consistently sharing about them. And so March 2015 is when I started coaching, when I dove right into the coaching opportunity. And I told my coach, I said, I want to be able to get my car payment paid for. At the time, I was driving a purple HHR. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. If you don't know what an HHR is, look it up on Google. It looks like a hearse. My boyfriend, my fiance now, picks on me still to this day. that I drove that when we first started dating. But I was driving a purple HHR and I wanted to get my $300 car payment paid for. So in March, I started getting my $300 car payment paid for. I changed 6 lives in March, my first month, by just starting to share my story. That I had an empty, broken, and bruised cup, and I needed it to be filled, and this program helped me do that. Caitlin helped me do that. That was not a lie. That was so true. That was so authentic, and I was taking them along the journey with me. I was still sitting at over 200 pounds. I was still going through that busy season of my life, but I was sharing it, and it wasn't taking anything out of me to share it. If anything, it was helping me through it, right? And so April came around, and I was like, okay, a lot of my customers are sticking with me. I hit Emerald Coach. I was on track to hit Diamond in a couple months, and now I was getting my car payment paid for, and then I wanted to get my insurance paid for. Well, then my insurance started to get paid for. And just 4 months into Beachbody with me pouring in my passion. And guys, I'm an underachiever. My entire life, I've always been an underachiever. I had terrible grades. I barely passed high school. I barely passed college. But for this, it was for once something that was about me. It was for once something that the more I poured into it, the more I got out of it. And that was such a fulfilling feeling. And so I talk about that all the time. Every feeling that you feel in this business, you have to be talking about it. And so 4 to 5 months into this business, we were solely living off of my Beachbody paycheck, and I was pocketing all of my teaching income. We were still living in Tyler's parents' basement, so it allowed me to solely pocket my teaching income. Well, in September of actually 3 years ago, Monday, we ended up closing on our first house, which we're sitting in today. And that was in September of 2015. That next year, in June of 2016, I decided that I no longer wanted to be a teacher traditionally in a classroom, and that I was going to focus my attention on my business. And so it was now June of 2016, and I quit my job. I was sitting at Diamond rank. I had no leaders on my team. I was literally the only person on my team hitting Success Club. Maybe I had 1 or 2 girls like with Success Club points, but I was making roughly like $200 to $500 a week. And me and my boyfriend had a serious conversation, and we said, okay, this is something that I want to do. We communicated. At first, he was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm just super hard-headed. And I was like, well, I think it's a good idea. And he was like, well, we need to talk about it more. And I'm like, well, I think it's a good idea. And so I did it. And I quit my job in June of 2016. And I just pictured in my business that all these people were going to run toward me. I just thought, okay, I quit my job. Now everyone's going to run toward me and I'm going to be so successful. And it was the total opposite. I went on vacation mode for those 3 months in my business. And to this day, those are the hardest 3 months I've ever been through. I lost trust with so many people because I stopped inviting. I stopped showing up as much as I was before. I stopped pouring in my passion because I just thought that it was going to be this easy thing now. And if anything, you're less relatable when you go full time. So you have to work harder, right? You have to work harder to get those people. And so it was August of 2016, 2 months after I quit my job. And I was like, Ashley, you have to do something. You either have to shit or get off the pot. You have to either go back to work or you have to start doing something. And so I said, okay, I'm going to start doing something. And then I started inviting like crazy. I really started to hone in on the vital behaviors. And I did the vital behaviors and I did them times 10. And I was getting all these coaches. And this is the end of 2016. And I was starting to change all these lives. And guys, remember that at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. So if you're only changing 2 lives a month, more than likely, maybe those 2, maybe 1 will actually turn around to be a coach, and maybe 0 will actually work the business. So let's say you start to change 10 lives a month, which every single one of you are capable of accomplishing. I don't drink some magical milk at night. I don't wear a cape to bed, right? It's the decision that if you want to go to change 10 lives a month, you'll do the vital behaviors to get to 10 lives a month. And I have lawyers on my team, I have teachers on my team, I have doctors on my team who all make it their goal every month, and they hit it because they set those intentions. So if you have that goal, make it happen. But so let's say you change 10 lives a month, your odds are much more high for those coaches to turn around and be a coach, right? Or for those challengers to turn around and be a coach, right? And then your odds are even higher for them to go ahead and be successful in this business. And I'll tell you right now, I roughly, I don't have crazy high sponsor numbers. I recruit roughly like 10 coaches a month. And out of those 10, I get like 5 of them to hit Success Club, or hit at least one Success Club point their first month. Hopefully all of them hit Success Club, but at least 5 of them to have at least one Success Club point a month. And so, but on average, I'm changing roughly like 40 lives. And so to see that if I'm changing 40 lives, I'm getting 10 to be a coach, where those of you who are only changing 5 lives and you're getting maybe 1 of them to be a coach, it's a numbers game at the end of the day. But I don't want that to scare you. I want you to say, okay, if you are changing 5 lives or 2 to 3 lives a month, that you just need to set your intentions a little bit higher, and just get better every single day. In 2015, I was only changing 3 to 5 lives a month, because you're really starting to build that momentum. But in 2016, I decided to go all in. I said to myself, you know what, this is something that is going to change my future right now. It's not going to change it tomorrow, but the things that I'm doing right now, the things that I can control right this second, are going to change everything for me. And so I started doing the vital behaviors times 10. And I knew that was going to compound over time. So I was doing the vital behaviors, I was doing the things. And in 2017, beginning of 2017 was the biggest change in my business. I started gaining these coaches who wanted to work the business. I started seeing life on Team Elevate who wanted to work the business. Now, I didn't have hundreds and hundreds of coaches at the time, but those coaches were the ones that I knew that were going to be in this in the long run, if I were to stay around. And so this business is all about the law of attraction. You are going to attract exactly what you are. So if I got into January seeing all this momentum grow on my team, and I decided to just say, oh, they're doing really well, but I'm just gonna sit back and I'm just gonna root them on, hoorah, right? If I don't have Success Club, if I'm only having Success Club 5 on the last day of the month, if I'm not sponsoring any coaches, if I'm not helping coaches rank their business advance, they will see all of those things as unimportant. But in their eyes, they're going to see the things that I do as important. They're going to look to me, right? I'm like the teacher in the room. I'm the mentor in the room, where they're going to look to me and see what needs to be, how they need to. I'm going to be the leader, basically leading by example, and they're going to look to me to see what they have to do. Same thing in a classroom, right? When I'm doing that, if I blow a whistle, they're all going to look at me to see what I'm doing, to see what they have to do. And so I realized very quickly that I needed to keep up that momentum. If I wanted my momentum to keep growing, then I needed to keep growing. And the very best compliment one of my coaches gave to me one time, actually it was a couple weeks ago, she said, I think it's so awesome that, we get like a top coach or somebody on our team call every week. And every time that a top coach, gives us some type of like call to action or something to do, something that we can, apply to our business, I always do it. And I'm always there taking notes. And one of my coaches that I mentor, shouted me out for that. And it was such a cool thing, because in this business, I'm not doing anything different than the girls I mentor are doing. I've just been doing it a little bit longer. And same with you guys. You are going to keep doing the same things. You're going to keep growing. You're going to continue being a sponge over time. Now you're just going to get other people to do it with you. And that's the beauty of setting realistic expectations for your team. We're not super women, being number 19 in the company, I'm not a superhuman. I've just decided that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it well, and I'm going to continue to do it, and I'm going to allow it to compound over time. And so January of 2017 came, all of 2017 came, and I was just powering through. I wasn't making incredible money. I was still sitting at Diamond Coach, but I was focusing on myself. And now I had a conversation with my corporate rep, Kevin. At the time it was Kevin, now it's Jeff. And I said, Kevin, what are the top coaches doing? Like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And he said, they are learning how to mentor every type of person. And this was my flaw. I was sitting at Diamond Coach for 2 years because this was my flaw. Even though I was changing lives and I was building momentum on my team and my girls were hitting Success Club, I only knew how to train the other Ashleys of the world. I only knew how to train the type A personality, red personality, organized personalities. I didn't know how to train the yellow personalities, the super outgoing, crazy girls. I didn't know how to, I definitely didn't know how to train the easygoing girls. Like if I saw it was on a cover, like a chat with an easygoing girl, I'd be like, wake up. And that's just the type of personality I have. I had to learn how to train her, right? I had to learn how to train the people who were motivated by facts and figures when math is super hard to me and I'm motivated by like energy and tricks and stuff like that. And so that was the biggest flaw that I had in 2017 that I had to take into consideration. And so for you guys, from the beginning, learn how to train every single type of person. If you can take anything from this call, learn how to train every single type of person, pour into your own journey, and don't stop doing it. Brittany Leggett is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. And she told me this well analogy one time, and I want to share it with you guys. Maybe you've heard it before. But I want you to picture this well. And so you go to this well, it's a brand new well, and you have to create this water pressure, right? So you pump this well, you pump this well, you pump this well. And I want you to look at this pumping as basically an indication of your sending invites and you posting on social media and you sharing your journey and you being present on team calls. All of the vital behaviors, right, is you pumping this well. And so this man, he's at a well and he's pumping and he's pumping and he's pumping. This is you in your business. You're pumping, you're pumping, you're pumping. And you can't see this momentum growing underground, right? You can't see the momentum building underground. You just have to trust that it's there. This man pumping the well just has to trust that his hard work is actually going to pay off in the long run. Well, there's two different types of people. One type of person will not trust their leader or will pump and pump and pump and not be able to see that momentum grow, so they stop. Another type of person will pump and pump and not see the momentum, but they trust that it's there and they celebrate the little things. And it starts to grow. And now, so both people keep pumping. They're pumping, they're pumping and pumping. And all of a sudden, both of them get a droplet of water. That first person sees that droplet of water, just one little droplet, and they're like, what the heck? I just did all that pumping for that one droplet. This is crazy. I'm done. And the other type of person sees that one droplet of water after pumping and pumping and pumping, after sending the invites, after sharing her journey, after doing the things to get her there. She sees that one droplet of water and she says, game the hell on. Heck yeah. If I see that one droplet of water, I know there is more. I know there is more coming. And so she keeps pumping and she keeps pumping while this other girl over here stops pumping totally. And so you just have to make the decision of whether you're going to be this person on the right who is not trusting the fact that their hard work is paying off, or this person on the left who has that belief instilled in their core. Worst case scenario in this business, guys, is that you build incredible relationships, you get fit, you get healthy, you go on free trips. That's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you do all of those things and you build freedom, whatever that looks like for you. Both ways is a total win-win situation. One is just going to get you much further, and you just have to have that belief instilled in your core. And I always tell my girls on our first one-on-one call, I say, I want you to make a commitment to me that you're going to be here in a year from now. No matter how hard it takes, no matter how many invites you have to send, no matter how hard you're going to be working on your journey, I want you to make a commitment that you're going to be here in a year from now. And we set those intentions, we set those goals, and it's such a powerful time, and I record it. It's such a powerful time because they start that belief instilled, that belief really gets instilled in their core. And so let's go back to all of 2017. All of 2017, I was just building that momentum. I was just learning how to lead every type of person, right? I was learning how to be that person for them. Not only was I being proof of the product and I was leading and I was hitting success level, finally I started to really reach down into my downline and help them rank their business advance. And so first things first, I got Tyler to diamond. Then, I popped my first diamond and I was a 2-star. I didn't hit 2-star until December of 2017, so less than 9 months ago. It was the last week of December 2019. I hit Premier by the skin of my teeth. I hit 2-star. I didn't open up my second business center until almost 9 months ago. As soon as I opened up my second business center, is it cool if I talk numbers like money? Yeah. In December of 2017, before I opened up my second business center, I was making anywhere from $250 to $500 a week, just 9 months ago. I opened my second business center up in the end of December of 2017, and in January of 2018, I started making $1,000, $2,000 a week. And because I opened my second business center, I put it on my week leg and I started hustling. All that momentum started coming in January of 2018. All of that compounded effort of my team and mine started rolling over. And, now today, Tyler and I are in the process of building our home, selling this one, building our own home, planning our dream wedding, like literally just being able to create a life that we love. And like, how often can you hear somebody just say like, I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And we all deserve that. We all deserve that. And so next time you make an excuse for yourself, ask yourself if your why isn't important enough. If you're not going to send invites tonight or today, or you're not going to follow your schedule and you're not going to check that last box off your to-do list, ask yourself if your why isn't important enough. Because if you make it a responsibility to yourself, it's gonna be worth it. And every broken promise that you have with yourself, every time you break a promise with yourself, it's easier to break promises with yourself. So stop breaking the promises, set your intentions every single morning. My biggest piece of advice is to write a to-do list every night before you go to bed, accomplish the to-do list the next day, and just get it done, guys. Fall in love with the hustle. You know what you're capable of in this business, and you have everything you need right inside of you. Just make it happen. All right, Kelly, that's all I have for you.
That's freaking awesome. Thank you. Okay, I have some questions, and I'm sure other people are going to have some questions. All right, so when you learned to train all these personalities, where the hell did you start? Like, what did you do to be able to figure out where to start?
Read the 5 levels of leadership.
Okay.
And it's not just something where you have to like learn all the personalities. It's a matter of like you really building patience with yourself. You developing, like I had to develop like a structured routine of when I got on a call with a coach. Like sometimes I would be so different than them and I was finding myself getting annoyed. So I had to build a schedule. Like I had to build a structured schedule of questions I could ask them, because if they're not exactly like me and they don't have the same training styles as me, they're going to need more. And so by developing those questions and those, basically just going through like a system, it just allowed more ease and more fluidity over our calls.
Okay. All right, cool. Also, when you talked about when you started to all of a sudden get these active coaches, were the active coaches people that were currently like your challengers, or were a lot of your active coaches just random people from Instagram or Facebook or wherever that came to you?
I got to Diamond by my warm market. So I was sitting at Diamond Coach. I was like a fallen Diamond, like quite a few months of the year. It was very much my warm market. It wasn't until 2017 that I really started diving into my cold market. But as soon as you guys dive into your cold market, you're going to find other yous. You're going to find.
Do you find it hard? Like I even find for me, like on Instagram, to reach out to people that don't know, like what this opportunity can give them. Like they truly don't know. They don't know about the programs. They don't know about like how, they don't have the belief in it yet. So to reach out to the cold market and try to get them to be a coach, like how do you find like that crew? Like how do you even tap into that so that they actually like want to do this or be successful in this?
Talk about it more often. I talk about my challenge, like my boot camps. I talk about my coaching all the time. I don't invite to the coaching opportunity though. I'll do like call to actions over like whenever I do a coach sneak peek, like I'll do a call to action and people can add themselves, but I never invite to the coaching opportunity. I don't have success doing it. I only invite to my boot camps, and I invite my challengers to the coaching opportunity.
Okay. All right, that's interesting. Fail on my part. No, just joking.
No, not a fail. It's just what works for me. It's just honestly, I have tried, like I went through the stage of inviting people to the coaching opportunity, and for me, it just wasn't something I wanted. I came out of a challenge group and I fell in love with my journey first, and that's really what I want to hone in on.
How often do you do like coach sneak peeks?
Once a month.
Okay.
I do a 3-day coach sneak peek once a month.
3-day. Okay. When you do them, or is it you primarily, or do you have like your coaches jump on in and start doing like lives, or like how do you kind of run the 3-day sneak peeks?
Yep. So usually it's me. I pair up with a couple of top coaches like me, Moira, and Erin Hopkins, and Kate Morgan is one of my sponsor coaches. We're doing one together this month. Last month I did it with Colleen Curtis. Usually it's just like a couple of girls I'm friends with. Mandy, I've done with Mandy, Emily Favre. I try to pair up with a couple like different coaches in the network, and we can kind of just have fun with it. But I am going to start transitioning over into just an email campaign for my coach sneak peeks. So I'm going to basically develop a video for people, and then they can kind of go through it at their own pace, and I'm going to see how that goes. But it's all about trial and error, seeing what works for you.
And do you obviously run, for those that are finally interested in coaching, like a coach boot camp, teaching them the ropes, like a whatever week, 10-day thing to kind of teach them the ins and outs of coaching?
So when I sponsor a coach?
Yep.
I do a 7-day self-paced training. It's on my website. And then every other Thursday in my team page, I do a 30-minute coach basics. And then once they go through their coach basics and once they go through the 7-day self-paced training, they have the ability to sign up for a one-on-one call with me.
Okay.
I never went through a coach basic, or I never went through a coach training. And I was finding that when I was making my coach trainings, like 21 days, and they had to show up, and it was like cutthroat. I just wasn't having a great, attendance rate. But as soon as I made it self-paced and I made it a little bit shorter, that's exactly how my brain works. If I see 7 days and if I see that I can do it in like 2 days, I'm in. And so I found so much more success from 7 days and then doing my coach basics live every other week in my team page. It's like seamless now. And I've been doing that for like 6 months.
Dana, anyone else? Anyone chime in? Does anyone else have any questions right now?
I love that you say you don't invite directly to the coaching opportunity, because that is something that I've really struggled to transition to with all the top coaches that are like, invite to the opportunity. And I started from the get-go with the opportunity, but like the majority of my coaches were challengers first. So I love that.
And of course you'll get some of those
right
who come out of it, but yeah.
I wanted to ask you, two things. Number one, what do you find is the best way to track your business? Like keeping track of people you're talking to, keeping track of follow-ups, invites, etc. And then the second thing is like, what are the behaviors I think you're building most of your business on Instagram, right? Mm-hmm. What do you do on a day-to-day basis on Instagram?
Okay. Streak is my love. I love it so much. If you're somebody who's like, I'm unorganized, like I'm a pen and paper girl through and through. And it took like one of my leaders on my team being like, Ashley, just do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And I started Streak and my business has never been stronger. It gives you like, I have the girls whose links I've sent out and I can like just send them a message every week. I have the girls who were in my coaching sneak peek that didn't sign up and I can send them emails every week. It's just like a seamless way of doing things. So Streak for me is it.
We just did a call on that last week, actually.
Yeah. Do you want me to show you how I have mine set up, but that's no big deal.
If you would want to screenshot it or something and send it along, that would be awesome.
Okay. Do you want me to share my, yeah, I'll send it to you.
I would love to know, like, okay, so break this into two components, actually, since we have a lot of part-time coaches. Like how much time would you say you spent on your business before you actually became part-time? And then like, how is your day different now? Like the structure of what you're doing, was it just the amount of numbers you're doing? Or kind of what changed for you?
Right. So when I was a part-time coach and I was going to grad school, I was focusing probably like 1 to 2 solid hours on the business. I was only sitting down for one. And that's probably like right before I went to bed, but I was an on-the-go coach. I was always going. And so a lot of it would be like getting to grad school early, sitting down and like getting my invites done or answering messages. And then before bed, answering messages and getting those things done. I was doing the vitals and I was doing them consistently, but I wasn't like doing them like crazy as a part-time coach, but I was doing enough to continue to grow my business forward. So I would say roughly just like getting my vitals done took me 1 hour to 2 hours a day. And so that's like getting my workout done, sharing my journey, making sure that I'm getting some invites done each day, and really just interacting with my followers. Today, I work anywhere from like 3 to 5 hours a day. I suffered like really bad business guilt at the beginning of this year, and I was working almost like 10 to 15 hours a day. And I get really bad chronic migraines to the point of like I go numb. It's like a stroke. And I kept pushing myself into them because I was overworking myself. I was obsessed with rank, and it was just a really unhealthy time in my life. And I had to hire a business coach, and I basically had to come to a realization that I have to set business hours and that I will get more done in 5 hours of really working versus those 14 hours of just hoping and praying that this miracle is going to come along. And so today, I work off of a strict schedule. I have a to-do list, and however long the to-do list takes me, I can work for that long. I use the Happy Planner. It just looks like this. And every night I make my to-do list for the next day. And so my basic to-dos every single day, and of course they're different based on what I need to do the next day, but they're like personal development, breakfast, email follow-ups, invite to 8-week group, shower and get ready, go live for my Wildcard Wednesday in my team page, go live in my coach sneak peek, and then I have like calls with some of my girls, and then tonight's call. But just like little things. And so you realize I said, you know, my invites and then pouring into myself with my workout, or I didn't work out today because it was rest day. Normally it would say workout on there. Posting my challenge groups is on here. So little things like that, and not just overcomplicating it. Like changing your filter on Instagram for an hour is not work. Like get one filter, fall in love with it, and use it every single day. So that kind of stuff was a big transition to me. But yeah, I work roughly like 3 to 5 hours a day.
Anybody else have questions?
I do. I put this in the chat, but actually, can you tell us, you mentioned like building out a structured routine for your new coach calls. And can you just kind of give us like a little like insight into like what that is, or what do you ask?
Mm-hmm. So like on a one-on-one call, like the first one-on-one call?
Yeah.
So my favorite attribute of a new coach is their ability to dream. And so the very first thing I do is get them in the mindset of what they're fully capable of in this business, talk to them a little bit about my journey, and then really get them to dream a little bit bigger, and then write those things down. And then we build affirmations out of those things. Affirmations are huge, getting them to understand that if they want to quit their job in 12 months, then they have to believe they can. If they want to be, earning $500 a week in 5 months, then they need to believe they can. If they want to be a diamond coach, 5-star diamond coach, they need to believe that they can. And so like diamond and 5-star diamond isn't something that we usually talk about on a one-on-one call, but for coaches, you really want them to understand that they can do it. So the ability to dream, talk to them about their dreams, like help them understand what they're truly capable of is my biggest piece of it. We go through their schedule, and just like I have written out my schedule, I help them create a plan, and I just have them add the 4 vital behaviors to it each day. I have them put themselves first, whether it's personal development first thing in the morning or it's a workout first thing in the morning. I make sure that they are focusing on them before they fill up anybody else's cup. I make sure that they are sending at least, depends on how big their goals are. Like if I have girls who want to quit their job in 12 months, then they need to be sending roughly like 60 invites a day. I'm a heavy inviter, and all my girls, I make them invite very heavy. That's why they hit such high numbers. But I believe, what's 30 to 60? Like if you're already inviting 30 people, why not take an extra 10 to 20 minutes to just invite another 30? Another thing is growing their social media. So you're going to run out of people to invite if you're not growing your social media. So a big thing we always talk about is downloading the app Captivate or investing in the company Jumper Media. Jumper Media is a company that basically grows your Instagram for you organically, and I have had such an incredible turnout. A lot of my girls use it, and they bring you organic followers because they are basically doing what Captivate's doing. They're going out and they're following profiles that you're helping them find. And you're actually talking to a consultant. So like you're telling them what type of things you like and stuff like that. So if you're looking for something to grow your followers, Jumper Media has totally changed my business. I went from 3,000 at the beginning of the year, and I just hit 10K because of Jumper Media. So really understanding Captivate, something like in growing their social media. Also, finding them a filter that they like and helping them understand how to take photos, because I can tell you what, coaches who take good photos are more successful coaches. People are going to follow you back because of your Instagram. And so maybe, finding a filter isn't the first thing a coach should be doing, but I truly think that that's what it starts with. It starts with really wanting to show it. If you have a beautiful picture, you're more likely to post, and you're going to be more excited about a post, right? And so I get them to find a filter that they like. Also, we kind of work on an invite for them. And then I always pair up my new coaches with each other so that they're in my group to start, like my challenge group to start, and then they graduate into their own challenge group the next month together so that they have something to invite to. And that's roughly what we talk about.
Actually, what is Jumper Media?
Jumper Media is basically an organic growth, Instagram organic growth company. So if you guys, so Kelly, I can send you my contact for him. You guys got to put that I referred you though, because I get some money. I get to like write it off. I get whatever free. But it is insane. So they basically just do everything that Captivate does. If you guys are like familiar with Captivate, basically you're on the phone with them and you tell them like 10 profiles that you really love. So for instance, if you like follow like The Bachelor, they'll basically go to The Bachelor's profile and follow people who follow The Bachelor. And so more than likely the people in your tribe are going to follow you back. I follow a lot of like dog mom things. I follow a lot of like fashion things, makeup things. And so I get a lot of followers back who like fashion and makeup and dogs. And then they see my health and wellness.
Is it really expensive to do?
No, not at all. I think it's $350 for 4 months,
okay.
Which was really a really good price.
Okay.
If you guys have ever looked into organic growth, and it's organic growth, like it's good quality growth.
Okay, cool. Awesome. What else?
We had someone send me a message because we didn't cover it, but what your vitals are on Instagram every day, what that looks like for you.
Showing up and being me. Like, guys, be yourself. Don't hold that back. Like, if you're quirky, if you're a nerd, if you are like whatever personality you are, it's going to be the law of attraction, and that's exactly who you're going to attract. Like, you want to get to the point where you could literally tell them to go put dirt on their face because it will cure their like whatever, and they'll go and do it because they trust you so much. And so that's like what I've gotten so excited about, because I have just been able to become myself. I love Instagram stories because you have the ability to do that, but you become yourself so much that you literally build so much trust with people that you could tell them anything. And then it comes to the point where you're going to start a boot camp and they have no reason to say no because they know Planet Fitness isn't working and they know that Ashley is working. So they start with you, right? And so it's that law of attraction, but it's also that trust factor. You keep showing up and being you. They know that you're passionate in whatever you're doing. You're passionate in your relationship. You're passionate about your dogs. You're like passionate about your fashion. Whatever you're passionate about, you're also passionate about your health and wellness. You're building trust with them every day. So much that they know that you're going to be passionate about their journey as well. So that's number one. In like engaging, like really like interacting. Watch Instagram stories. If you're going to watch Instagram stories, you better be commenting on Instagram stories. Like whenever I see a cute outfit, I'm like, I love your outfit so much. Or if I see a dog, I'm like, oh my God, like I want to kiss him. Or like, like going through and actually having conversations more than just consistently sending invites, stuff like that. Doing polls, asking polls for more than health and wellness stuff, but also asking polls for wellness stuff. Posting on social media. I like to say, of course there's more than 5 things that make you you, but really think about 5 things that you want to preach on your social media every couple of days. And if you can see those 5 things in a screen capture in your Instagram profile, then you're good. So make sure that if you can look at your Instagram profile, you should see all the 5 things that really make you you. And don't be afraid to hold those back. It's going to compound over time. Anything else? I think that's it. Be you, engage, and share every piece of your life.
Awesome. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're so welcome.
Is any final things before we wrap up tonight, guys? If there's anything, shoot a message or just say it out loud. But definitely, we'll get your link for the that site that you were talking about, Jumper Media, just in case people want to kind of jump in for that.
Yeah.
And Dana, is there anything else you want to add or anything?
No, I just think you are totally proof that it is so much about your energy and the energy you bring to the business. And I just love everything you shared. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you guys all for hopping on. We really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
And now go friend Ashley so you can follow her because she rocks. Look at her social media and her stories.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Have a great night. Bye-bye, guys.